Hello everybody, welcome to this first ever Europa League Journey podcast or EL Journey podcast. My name's Leon, I'm joined with
Lewis.
Tom.
So today we are doing this because we're trying to inform the people out there about the Europa League, because we just feel like it's not as widely recognised and as popular compared to the Champions League, and we just want to improve people's knowledge on it. We just want to make it a bit better.
Yeah.
So today in the podcast we're going to talk about, it's a bit controversial, but we're going to talk about why the Europa League is better than Champions League.
It's not controversial for me.
Yeah, it's not controversial for me, but
Straightforward.
let's well, obviously we'll get into the reasons why,
Yeah.
but
And then later on, we're gonna do some pre-match reviews for tomorrow's games.
so all the big games tomorrow, including all 5 British teams who are in there, who are looking to get past the round of 32 into the
Yeah.
round of 16.
First knockout stage.
Yeah, it's huge games.
Yeah.
So be a big night for Wolves versus Espanyol, and then we've also got United versus Bruges, and then we've got Arsenal versus Olympiacos, Rangers versus Braga, and Celtic versus.
They go to Copenhagen.
Yeah, all of them.
Another tricky game.
And then we'll also be doing the match of the night, so that'll be later on. So just tune in for that.
All games not as easy as it looks on paper.
Yeah, never is.
Yeah, never is, obviously. But so should we get straight into the reasons why the Europa League is better than the Champions
Let's
League?
do
Go on
that.
then, Leo.
Yeah. So my first reason is an opportunity for less experienced players. So we talk about the group stage. Man United actually fielded more teenagers than any other team in the group stage. I just feel like it's a great opportunity, because in the group stage we're playing teams who aren't as good as them. So it's an opportunity for someone like Mason Greenwood coming in. Would have been his dream to go play for Man United at Old Trafford Europa League, and he scored 3 or 4 goals in the Europa League group stage. I think it's fantastic as well.
You just get some experience. So like, if you look at Brandon Williams now, you can see how he's improving along.
Yeah, it translates into the Premier League when they play, because they've got this experience in the Europa League. I think if you look at even the Ajax team that Man United played in the 2017 final, players like Donny van der Beek and Matthijs de Ligt played in that game.
But then he goes and then translates into the Champions League semi-final when they got that far with that team. But then you can then see on how those players have then been, like the transfers that have been made since then with De Jong, De Ligt, and then up currently Ziyech to Chelsea and so on.
100%.
Yeah.
So even though they lost that final, it gives them a great experience of how to lose a final and how not to do it next time. Yeah, they lost in the semi-finals, but would they have got there without that run in the Europa League? We don't know, because it gives them that load of experience going into.
I mean, Arsenal as well. Last year, finalists, fielding quite a lot of young players.
Exactly. A good opportunity for, was it right, Reece Nelson, Bukayo Saka, and people like that.
Yeah.
Gives them a great opportunity for. While in the Champions League, teams just won't do that because they know how important games can be. Like, there's no way Liverpool are going to play like a Nico Williams or Curtis Jones last night. They're not going to do that, and to be fair, you can't blame them. But that's why the Europa League is better for me, because you get to see young players coming through the academies.
It's that world platform that they get.
Exactly.
Isn't it? So
Yeah, and you get to go then progress into the Champions League and then further the career.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's just like, say if you look at this, say it's good for the international level as well. Say if you look at Saka and Maitland-Niles, if they're going to progress for the Europa League, getting experienced football, they're going to be able to do it into the youth stages for youth level at England.
Yeah.
So then that will then improve the England level.
Yeah, so it's really going to help internationally if they actually just playing football. If they're just playing simply playing football on a high level, it's always going to help.
Because you're against different types of opponents compared to just English players.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to play in the reserves, or they're just going to play in the Premier League 2. Or that's what you're seeing nowadays. They're going abroad. That will help them as well. But
100%. So, what should we move on to another? That's just one of the 6 we've got. Let's move on to another one.
so we think that's a good one. Anyone
Yeah.
else got another? You got one, Tom?
I mean, we know the Europa League has a lot more football than the Champions League, actually, especially tomorrow. We got 16 games instead of maybe 2 or the 4 that the Champions League have. The stat, actually, 474 matches played in the Europa League compared to the 217 in total in the Champions League. So there's way more football. It's obviously a good it's a good night for any fans that just want to watch football, chill out, whether you're a fan of the league or not.
What if you was a football fan? There's football at 5 to 6 and there's football at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 kickoffs is obviously pretty key.
Yeah.
But then there's some big games on there for you, so then you
Exactly.
it's just
Yeah,
like
it's just, if you're a football fan, which we all are, and the Champions League, is 2 games every night, but with the Europa League, there's 8 games on at 5 to 6, and there's 8 games so you've got plenty of options. You can watch teams you've never watched before.
Yeah, it's quite exciting as well because the teams that drop down from the Champions League, again, more teams coming in the Europa League.
Exactly,
it's quite exciting.
So yeah, that 100%.
then it can then be like a lot of strong competition. If you already get in the Europa League players, which are already, and the Europa League teams that are already doing well, then other than having to face the Champions League players that just didn't cut it quite as they finished third in the Champions League group stages, where you got teams like Olympiacos, Inter Milan. Well, then that's going to create strong competition.
Yeah. So
Definitely. Yep.
move on to one of your reasons, Lewis, maybe.
That's fine. So the next point that we've got is that it expands football knowledge for both the teams and just the fans of the world. Because, say if you go back to last season, you've got the team of Eintracht Frankfurt. In that team, you've got Rebic, Sebastian Haller, and also Luka Jovic. That team, it was a good, well-built team. You had Danny Da Costa, right wing back. It was just a good team, but then it worked well together. But it was unluckily on the penalty shoot in the semi-final against Chelsea. But then that then led them to get the big money moves to Real Madrid, the West Ham, which is 40 million. It's just
I think with the Champions League, apart from maybe last season when Ajax and Tottenham got to the semi-finals, what team's going to get to the semi-finals and the final. It's a bit repetitive. It's a bit boring because Real Madrid won it 3 times in a row, and it was always like Real Madrid Atletico, Real Madrid Liverpool.
Yeah.
Haven't had the Real Madrid Barca final yet, which would be interesting. But
you had the Real Madrid Juventus one.
Exactly, it's just always the same team to get to the final, but then.
But you get different ones though as well.
Like,
that's another
Sevilla
reason.
played Dnipro in one of the finals a few years back. Like Dnipro will never ever get to a European final.
Yeah.
But
How many times do you watch them play?
exactly, yeah. How many times will anyone watch Dnipro play unless you're obviously a big fan? But
well, you've got you had Canopy Ankri made his name for himself.
Yeah.
So then he could then get the big money move. It's just like fans are getting more knowledge of different players, and they can want them to come to their club at the Champions League level, or even sell at West Ham because they're pushing for the higher football like Europa League.
Yeah.
As it's not happening this season, but
no, I don't think so.
But it's just better for them.
For me, another reason about why the Europa League is better for me, it's just it's much less predictable. We talked about how Champions League, the same teams get to the Champions League finals and semi-final, but with the Europa League, you don't really know what's going to happen because it changes every year. Even the examples of the group stage this year, Lazio finishing 3rd behind Cluj and Celtic, and just because maybe they didn't take the Europa League as seriously as they should have done, but they're still a very good side. They're currently 2nd in Serie A. If they finish 3rd in that group, it's exactly who'd have predicted that? Even Gladbach going out, and Gladbach finished 3rd to a group of Roma, and then. Obviously, and Roma didn't finish 1st. Istanbul finished 1st, and that's what an amazing achievement for that is for them.
They're an improving team, but it's a good achievement though.
It's Istanbul taking on 2 well-known European, Roma's a European heavyweight. They're a big club. Roma in the Champions League semi-finals only a couple of years ago. So them to take them on and finish and beat them to the top spot, as well as Gladbach, who have been in the Champions League a few times. I think it's much less predictable, and it makes for a more exciting tournament.
But if you look at Lazio, it's good. They've got a good team like Luis Alberto,
Milinkovic Savic, Ciro Immobile.
Leiva.
Immobile is one of the best strikers in the world right now. He couldn't prove himself.
It's
in the
just
European stage.
but they're doing well in the Serie A as well. It's just they're trying. It's just unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah.
So Rene's had a good team last year, but it's not the best at the moment. But you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that always makes it more exciting when you don't know what's going to happen. So that's 4 out of the 6 done.
Okay.
Game with anyone else?
I think one of the biggest points, actually, in my opinion, is the fact that the Europa League is such a stepping stone for players, and not even just players, managers as well. We've seen, Jose Mourinho winning the was it Europa League?
It would have been the UEFA Cup in 2003 with Porto,
true.
wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then going on to Chelsea, and then likes of Unai Emery, who obviously hasn't worked out so well at Arsenal, but the 3 years in a row with Sevilla is impressive.
So yeah, with managers, Chelsea looked at Mourinho went to win the Champions League the year after he won the Europa League, but you know, give it that experience of winning the European Cup, win the European trophy. He's obviously just going to just help them go in that Champions League run. And PSG looked at Unai Emery, said, yeah, he might not have done it at a league level, but he's done it. He shows he can prove he can do it at a European level. Yeah, it didn't really work out, but again, he took Arsenal to another final, so he knows like that competition is so important for him, and it's made him turn into a better manager, hasn't it?
But if you look across Europe, the different leagues, like the top 5 leagues, including Porto, you've got as well, but that it's different styles of play though. Like, but that's what they need to get. Like these managers, these players, they've got to get used to it because they can't just stay in the same. They might not just want to stay in the same league and just play in that style of play throughout the career.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the players, we're talking Sergio Aguero is one of the world's best strikers right now.
He did that superbly well at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. You got Falcao, missed the Europa League.
Missed the Europa League. I think the only other player to win it back to back with 2 different teams, and he was top scorer in both. Yeah. So you can tell how much he loves that competition, and you know, and it was just incredible for Porto and for Atletico. So
and then go on to get big moves himself.
Exactly,
so.
Went to Monaco, but been to massive clubs at Man United and Chelsea. So yeah, the Europa League was was momentous for him. So
definitely, and even for players like Wolves that they signed, like Neves, was he at Porto? Originally?
He was captain at Porto,
and then he's made the jump to Wolves, who weren't even in the Europa League.
He was captain in the Champions League. He was the youngest ever captain in the Champions League. But then he made that step to go into the Championship. For now in the Europa League, it's because he's trying to make a milestone for himself.
Yeah, he could have said at Porto where he didn't. Porto not really going to. It's not the Porto 2004. They're never going to win. Probably never going to win the Champions League for a while. But so to go, he saw the project in Wolves, Europa League sides, and maybe not one of the favourites for this year. But I'd probably back him to go quite far, maybe quarterfinals at least.
I mean, it's the fact that they're signing these experienced players, and even experienced players like Patricio as well. He was already in.
You got
Neves,
João Moutinho,
now Jimenez.
Raul Jimenez,
they've now signed Podence from Olympiacos.
Podence, yeah,
another good player.
So it's a great stepping stone of players who can really put themselves on the world stage.
My reason is also why it's better is the fact of when you're in this competition, it's not just in Europe. I know it defeats the object of the name, but last year the final was in Baku, which is in Azerbaijan. Yeah. So it creates a feeling for fans that aren't just in Europe, fans that want to because they want that as well, because it's just good.
The Europa League and Champions League are the biggest tournaments one of the biggest tournaments in world football. Obviously, the final being held in Baku was a bit controversial, but then you just got to think like it's good for these smaller nations to have major finals, and so teams like Karabakh and Astana, who are probably closer to Asia than they are Europe, but it gives them a real opportunity to play against the world's best. So you can't. It's just nice having the teams in there. It's nice to see.
It's like one of the it's one of the most streamed events for football in terms other than the World Cup. So you may as well, so it's better. It's better for Asia as well, to be involved in rather than just Europe.
I think it's good for fans because I don't think. Obviously, it's a big trek and it is going to cost you a lot of money, but you're never going to go to Astana or Azerbaijan not really in your lifetime to go and experience that.
Because imagine saying that you've been to Astana for watch Man United versus Astana.
Exactly. It's just a really good, really amazing experience, isn't it, to go out there
and the exposure as well for their country.
Exactly.
On football terms.
Well, and the club, so it's something that they can remember. For them, exactly. And that's what's good for them. So they can then attract better players, and then be able to improve as a club.
So that is our 6 reasons why the Europa League is better than the Champions League.
It's pretty straightforward.
Exactly. I don't know if anyone can disagree with that.
You can agree or disagree. It's just on what our opinions and what we found from our research.
Yeah.
But leave a comment in the section below. But so now we're going to go on to the match previews.
Match previews, yes.
Tomorrow night's games.
Tomorrow night's get some big games in there, and so we're going to move. And we're going to start with the 5 British sides, because there's obviously 5 British sides in the Europa League round of 32, which is brilliant for British football. Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like last year when you had the All English final.
Yeah, All English finals in both of them, and it's just good and it's just brilliant for teams to.
So we start off with the English teams. Are we going with Wolves?
Yeah,
Wolves,
we'll start
Espanyol,
Wolves versus Espanyol.
So I've looked at Wolves versus Espanyol. So if you look at Espanyol at the moment, they're not doing the best. They are bottom of La Liga. It's not looking great for them, but they managed to get through the group stage, and then they
finished top of their group, didn't they? As well? Yeah.
But it's just a. But then they're coming against a strong Wolves side at the moment.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying at the moment that they wouldn't be able to cope with the Europa League and the Premier League and the other competitions such as FA Cup, Carabao Cup. But they managed to cope.
They have. Yeah.
So then because they've got a weak squad depth, because the Nuno Espirito Santo plays the same team. He mixes it up every so often, but he does play a similar team because he likes his style of football and he likes to play the similar sort of team.
Yeah.
But so like the key players for that game is, so like for Wolves you've got Jimenez. He's a prolific goal scorer. Like the way he's a good all-round striker. To be fair, he's been wanted by top teams at the moment. So like Manchester United trying to come in for him, but it wasn't available. So then you've got players like Ruben Neves, young, good captain, who've won for the future. To be fair, and then you've got the experience of Rui Patricio in goal, where he's won the Euros with Portugal, and then. For me, I see.
Do you see Wolves going through to the round of 16?
I do. Yeah, I think.
I probably have to agree. But Espanyol, they've shown they can play in Europe. They've shown that they've finished top of their group. Obviously not going well in the Spanish La Liga, but they're obviously going to fight to the end of the season. But I think it's probably the easiest game for all the English sides, because I think.
Do you reckon?
I think Wolves
I'd say that.
in their group stage. I think they had hard games in the group stage. They had Braga, which are a good team.
Besiktas as well.
So
I'd probably safely back Wolves to go through, but you
never know.
Espanyol, you don't know the Europa League.
See, I don't see what Wolves have to lose. Why don't they go for that?
Well,
When they try and win?
100%.
Well, they're doing well in the league.
They're safe in the Premier League. They're not going to go down.
No.
They're going to finish like 7th or 8th.
But they're close, because depending on the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup fixtures,
and obviously City's European ban, that could make 5th place interesting if that goes through. But
this could then.
Yeah, there's no reason for Wolves not to go for the Europa League.
They're doing fine in both
competitions.
competitions.
The squad to do.
Yeah,
they've got the team and the squad to win this competition.
Definitely. So we're looking at United next. That's you, isn't it?
Yeah. Being a United fan, I probably should.
No bias to
probably should preview the United Bruges
You've
game.
got to keep it neutral there, Leo.
Yeah, maybe. Well, when you look on paper, United should get through, but it's going to be a tough game because Bruges are not a bad side. Bruges are currently top of the Belgian Pro League, beating teams like Vincent Kompany's and they're 9 points clear currently as well. And they finished 3rd in their group, but coming behind Real Madrid and PSG, it's not nothing to be ashamed of, is it?
Well,
really?
You can throw back to the time with where Dennis went and did the Ronaldo celebration in Santiago Bernabeu, just to try and wind up the Real Madrid fans.
Yeah, Real Madrid, but Club Brugge, they've only lost 1 league game all season, so they really are tough to beat. And so this isn't going to be, with the first game being at being in Bruges, it's going to be a tough game for United. But United come into it high spirits, just beating Chelsea in the Premier League. They've kept a clean sheet in the 3 of the last 4 games. So look, I guess I back Man United to go through, but I don't think it's going to be easy as it seems. Bruges players like obviously Dennis that you've talked about, and Simon Mignolet, former Liverpool goalkeeper, who's having a pretty good season. So if Bruges can cause an upset, but Bruges are winless in the last 10 against English sides, and the last time we met United and Bruges was in the Champions League qualifier. United went through 7-1 on aggregate.
Okay.
So it's not going to be an easy game for United. No. Definitely, they have to take it seriously. But I think it's a good time for players, as we said, like Mason Greenwood. I think Sergio Romero is going to be in goal. Jesse Lingard's going to play.
Yeah, that's better rotation.
Here's a question then. Do you think we'll see a start or just even appearance for Odin Igalo?
Yeah, as a United fan, what do you reckon?
I think we could see a debut for Odin Igalo. I think it's a great opportunity for him because I don't think he's going to start in the Premier League every single week because we have got the Martial and James split striker formation going on there, which worked quite well against Chelsea. But I feel this is a competition for him to thrive, and I feel like I think we might see a full debut for him on tomorrow's game. Let's hope because he does need games to gel the squad, doesn't he? So yeah, so I just back Man United to go through. Probably I don't think there'll be a lot of goals. I reckon. Yeah, so I reckon.
What's your score prediction? Both.
But what would you be happy with
for tomorrow? For tomorrow night, I reckon it'll be 2-1 Man
Yeah.
United. I don't think there'll be a lot of goals.
I think I agree with you on that one. I think
it depends on the team, obviously, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think Man United will just edge it. I think.
But I feel like again with Man United, why shouldn't they take it seriously?
Yeah. Considering
we're not guaranteed to get Champions League football. It can happen through the league, but winning the Europa League gets Champions League football, doesn't it?
You could say the same for Arsenal next.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll move
They've
on
got
to Arsenal.
Tough game. Obviously, last year's runners-up in the tournament, they travelled to the historic stadium of, hopefully I'll say this right, the Kariskakis Stadium in Greece for the first leg of the
not
time.
bad.
quite impressive.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's the 9th time they'll have met in the Champions League actually, most recently in 2015. Arsenal won that 3-0. So, they'd look at this game on the back of 4-0 against Newcastle. They'll be pretty confident.
It does seem like Arsenal under Arteta are starting to.
Yeah, you see signs.
There's a lot of draws, but I feel like they're starting to really get into it. Especially Nicolas Pepe has been,
you could see
really good the last couple of
with
years.
the celebrations on Sunday against the Newcastle side. The celebrations were very quite over the top.
As Roy Keane I'd like to point out,
of course.
But it was that you could see that the team are gelling together, and that it's like good for the management and the players at the moment.
Yeah.
We got Olympiacos who are top of the Greek Super League, Arsenal 10th in the Premier League. But you'd expect Arsenal to win, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think. You look on paper, think Olympiacos Arsenal. Yeah, surely Arsenal will win. But
if you look at Olympiacos versus Tottenham in the Champions League earlier on this season,
it was they got a draw at home and then they were 2-0 up at the Tottenham. They ended up losing the game. But I'd see you can't not see Arsenal going through. I think Olympiacos, with the intimidating atmosphere they have at that stadium, I think it's like a cauldron, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Man United played there a few years ago and lost 2-0. Like it is a tough ground to go to. They're really hostile, the fans. If they can get on the Arsenal's back, we have seen their players cave in a bit. Maybe bottle it, but if they can.
I mean, the point here is interesting. Olympiacos have scored 24 goals in their last 10 games. Arsenal have 14. And it's the same old topic of Arsenal's defence and how they'll cope.
Yeah, if it depends if Godran Mustafi plays, will he be able to cope in that atmosphere? I don't know. He's one of them players, Godran Mustafi. Like whenever I see him, you don't trust him with anything. You can't trust him.
It's just like there's always disruption with that Arsenal team, though, and whether they're gonna work well as a team together. It's just like, so you always see the controversy with Mesut Ozil. It's just like, can they gel together? Aubameyang's doing well this season with goals wise. Yeah,
I think Nicolas Pepe is finally starting to get his rhythm.
I think this will be a good game for him actually.
I feel like it will be a good game because he has proved it in the Europa League. Scored a few goals in the Europa League.
It's when you've got to adjust from the French league to the Premier League.
I think with every player, it just takes time. It just takes time. I feel like, and it's obviously he had a lot on his back being the record signing, £72 million, not scored in the first few games, but give him time and he could.
That always happens for every player with
a
price tag on them.
100%. So just give him time, and I feel like he can prove to be a very good player for Arsenal.
Yeah, you'd hope the same with Bruno Fernandes as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what are you saying then, Tom? What do you think the score will be?
I'd go Arsenal, but by a goal. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 again.
Yeah, I know they've got a big player injured for the season, Soudani as well. Yeah, who's a big loss.
Has he been out for the season?
He's out for the season now,
so
not great.
Olympiacos probably need all the help they can get from these games.
They might get it from Arsenal's defence.
yeah, they might get it.
I think it might be a 3-1 for Arsenal to edge the game.
But and they'll probably make sure that means they're one step into the round of 16, isn't it?
Alright, so we're going to go further up north. We're going to Rangers.
Move up north to Steven Gerrard's Rangers. So pre-winter break, you said with Rangers in Scotland, They'd just beaten Celtic at Celtic Park. If it did, this is the time where Rangers are actually might topple Celtic dominance. And now we sit here in February and Celtic are 10 points clear. So it's just pre-winter break when the draw was made. I'm thinking, Rangers will beat these quite comfortably. But now I'm not really so sure because Braga, after the draw was made, they appointed a new manager, which name is Ruben Amorim, and they played 10 games. They've won 9 and they've only drawn 1, and that culminated in they won at Benfica on Saturday. Their first win at Benfica for 65 years. So this isn't as easy as it sounds. I don't know.
Well, Wolves struggled against Braga, to be fair.
Exactly. Braga topped the group with Wolves. They beat them at Molineux and got a draw at home. So
I mean, you could reckon Rangers. I don't know if the league's gone in Scotland now. Maybe it is. So maybe this is what they should focus on.
With a game in hand on Celtic, so it will be 7 if they win that game.
It's going to be tricky, isn't it?
But do you see Celtic dropping that lead? They haven't done for the last 10 years. So.
I think the Rangers, they come out of they had a strong group to start off with. They had Feyenoord and
Porto and Young Boys. They had a decent group to come second. And while they have Alfredo Morelos, they've always got a chance. Top scorer in the Europa League with 6 goals. While he's there, they've always got a chance. But obviously, it's whether his disciplinary record.
Whether he stays on the pitch.
If he stays on the pitch, Rangers have always got a chance. Ryan Kent as well is a decent player.
Yeah, quite fast.
Braga, one guard point out is Francisco Trincao, who's actually just moved to Barcelona for £26 million they're doing in the summer. So obviously, if Barcelona are looking at him, he must be a very good player. So the first leg is at Ibrox.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Braga have taken 2 trips to Scotland and not won either of them. They lost to Hearts and Celtic when they've been to Scotland. But I back them to get a draw. I back them to get a 1-1 draw here. I don't see. I thought Rangers would go through, but now I see Braga getting through this. To be honest, I see Braga getting through.
I think Braga are going to come to Ibrox. I think they could be able to do it. I think they're not the team there was back. I think they're a good team still, but I just think Braga will be able to do it. I think 2-0 to Braga.
Yeah, I think I agree. Sorry, Rangers fans.
Yeah, well, I'll back the draw. I'll back the draw for Rangers. But, so then we go the other side of the city to Celtic.
Let's make their fans happier. They've going to the first leg is in Denmark, Copenhagen. The first British team to win the European Cup in 1967, Celtic.
Yeah, the Lisbon Lions.
Only the third clash between both these sides as well. Previously, again, the Champions League, obviously the second best European Cup competition.
Yeah.
Celtic are one of the most informed teams in the competition. Top of obviously the SPL, 2 losses all season. You know, Copenhagen second in the Danish Superliga. Some positive results recently, but it's got the makeup of a good game. I think this one will be decent.
Yeah, I think Odsonne Edouard for Celtic is a key player, isn't it? I think he's got. I think if he can keep going the way he's going,
he's been touted by many transfers in January.
You'd expect so. I mean, they're both defending champions of their leagues.
Yeah.
Copenhagen unbeaten in 19 out of 21 home games, which is quite a good start this year.
It's the first leg out in Copenhagen.
It's in Copenhagen.
So it seems like Copenhagen don't really lose out. I think Celtic would be okay to go there and get a draw. Get an away goal, get a draw, then go back to Celtic Park.
You mentioned Celtic, 10 points clear. Obviously, Rangers have the game in hand, but so do Celtic have less to risk here? Can they go for this?
Maybe. Because
I think for them, as they're going away to start off with, I don't think it's more on them it's just not to lose.
I think the most important about European away ties is don't lose it and grab a goal to get an away goal. But I think you're right with the Leicester risk, because I think 7 points, it's not done obviously, or 10 points, 7 points of a game in hand, it's not done. But if you've got to back Celtic to win that league. So I feel like what's the risk if they go out? They go out.
Well, why not?
Well, why not go for the Europa League? It isn't as strong as I thought. Is it? There is some good teams in there, but in the few years there has been stronger teams. So I feel like if Celtic can give this, and any team, like didn't Lionel Messi call it the best atmosphere he's ever played in a Celtic Park, stuff like that.
Well,
so
you had that in the miraculous game where Celtic actually beat Barcelona.
They didn't have like 12% possession as well. They beat them 2-1. So like any team won't relish a trip to Celtic Park. Won't want that. So if they can,
it's a strong atmosphere because they like to. Because they do, they think that most people do. I think they're the best team in Scotland. It's strongly contested by Rangers, Aberdeen, but this is what they want to be able to compete in Europe. Though, then
teams don't want to go to Selhurst Park. There's a Lazio sort of that Lazio fell apart there. So.
Well, you've got that safe standing section in the corner, which is good for them.
I backed Celtic to get through. I think they get a draw in Copenhagen. I think I'll back a 1-1 draw. What was your?
I went 1-0 Celtic.
1-0 Celtic. Okay.
I'm gonna go for. I think I have to agree. I think I'm gonna say 1-1.
Yeah, I only went 1-1 because about the Copenhagen not losing.
Yeah,
don't lose at home. But obviously records are there to be broken, aren't they? So
indeed.
Okay, so then we're going to talk about elsewhere in Europe and what we think the match of the night will be. So,
I think there's a couple of contenders for a match of the night. There's a few good games in there. I think.
Does anyone want to say 1-0 together? Like, just say. Okay, so Tom, you say yours, and then Leo, you say yours, and I'll say mine. Start off with, I'm going to say Porto versus Bayern Leverkusen.
Yeah.
But you've got some highly good players on offer there. Like you've got Marega,
Kai Havertz,
Alex Telles,
Leon
Pepe,
Bailey, Vincent Abubakar. Like it's and it's again teams who are. I think Porto are battling at the top with Benfica, but it's a really good opportunity for them to go far in Europe. And and I think it's a good game. I feel like another good game, which is at 5-6 on Thursday night, is Getafe versus Ajax.
Yeah, that's a good
Getafe going third in the Spanish La Liga, which is incredible. Then who would have thought that at the start of the season?
Then you've got Ajax. There's quite a few players been sold.
Ajax last season Champions League semi-finalists.
Well, you've got Ziyech recently moving to Chelsea in the summer.
Is his head going to be in there?
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to say he's going to concentrate the rest of the season, but on the back of his mind, he's going to be thinking, do I have to give 100% because I won't be here next season?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
Getafe, they've got people like Angel, he's a good striker.
Yeah, Barcelona were looking for him for their emergency striker, but they decided to go with Martin Braithwaite. But Ajax would be really disappointed not to get through the Champions League, especially having Valencia and Chelsea, teams they probably should have beaten. Probably they should have got through, but this gives them an opportunity to win a European trophy. So and they are one of the best teams in there.
As you spoke about earlier, they got there
even without De Ligt
3 years ago.
Even without the players, obviously the sold De Ligt, Frankie De Jong. They saw Donny van der Beek, Quincy Promes.
Yeah.
Hakim Ziyech will still be there to the end of the season.
Well, they've got
David Blind.
Onyema, who's meant to be on his move to going to Arsenal, but
they've got Andre Onana, the goalkeeper. Yeah, not a bad goalkeeper. So they've got. I probably would back Leverkusen Porto as a match tonight, but I'd say keep an eye on Getafe Ajax because I think that will be a good game.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom? What do you think match of the night?
It's tricky. I think any game Inter Milan is in is going to be good.
Yeah.
I expect a lot from them this tournament. Again, same with Roma. Yeah, goals both of them. But I think I'd go with the Arsenal Olympiacos.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think, especially coming on the back of a big win for Arsenal, the expectations going to be there now. And
I might not have said Eintracht Frankfurt versus Salzburg, but Salzburg have had their team ripped apart.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
And they were top of the Austrian league. Now they're not. But
really?
you kind of expect that when your top scorer goes and your best creative midfielder goes as well in January. It's going to be tough. So
that's what happens when you sell key players in that.
When the draw was made, that was a really good time, but probably not so much now because Salzburg have lost their man Erling Haaland, which is
Frankfurt they've been doing. They've been doing well in the league, but it's not as well as they could have been doing if they would have had some of the players they had last year.
Jovic, Haller, Rebic has gone to Milan, so they've lost. Again, they've lost key players, so it's tough for them. It's hard to replace.
They was able to reintroduce some new players such as Andre Silva.
Yeah,
but it's just like it wasn't the team as well built as it is. But as overall, what do you think as an agreement?
I'd say Leverkusen Porto.
Yeah. Tom?
Yeah, fine with that.
Yeah.
So who do you think is going through that game? Who do you think gets through?
I think Leverkusen.
I think just Leverkusen.
Well, there was a game with Dortmund recently, and that was
4-3, wasn't it, to Leverkusen? Yeah, that was a very good game. I feel like maybe they can't really defend, but Leverkusen.
Yeah. They've got some highly rated players like Jonathan Tah,
Kai Havertz,
Leon
Bailey. They've got.
I think they'll be able to edge that.
Porto give them a game, but I feel like Leverkusen would just scrape through.
To round it all up then, so in this podcast we spoke about reasons and why we think the Europa League is better than the Champions League. match previews for tomorrow's games and the match of the night.
Well, we've backed 4 out of the 5 British teams to go through. Sorry, Rangers. Don't think your team is going to make it, but so we backed 4 out of 5 to get through, and maybe because they can meet each other in the next round. Well, that would be incredible if they did actually meet each other.
Yeah.
But I think that's time to wrap it up then, and that's from Lewis.
Leo.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for everyone.
Is this a weekly thing before we go?
Yeah.
Are we gonna do this?
We can make this a weekly thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Whenever the Europa League games are coming back, really.
Yeah. So obviously next week we can. I think the second leg is straight after next week, so we can preview.
So
maybe next week will be a review and a preview of the games.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.